What is going on, everyone? Today is Sunday, February 16th. We are in our post NFL topics. We are into the NHL with the Four Nations face off, NBA All Star weekend going on this weekend as we saw the skills competition last night. And then obviously some college basketball on the slate. We saw some good games yesterday with a fat Saturday slate. We have a great Sunday slate here for you. 5 games I'm going to get into in a little bit. But we'll start it out. Just me and Ace this week. How we doing today? How do we feel about that game last night? We'll get into it a little bit more, but how we feeling coming off a big USA win?
Yeah, I'm wearing this Boston Bruins hat because I am amped up over hockey right now, riding high after Four Nations. Now that hockey is America's sport, got Freebird just blasting through my head. I mean, what an electric goal song that the juniors team put on in their route of Canada in the World Juniors Championship to go back to back. Now, Team USA going into foreign soil, getting the anthem booed by the Canadians up there, looking to not become the 51st state. And then the Kachuk brothers following in their father's footsteps of Keith Kachuk and just kicking Canadian ass right off the drop. 3 fights in 9 seconds. I mean, I was dialed for that hockey game, and it was everything we wanted and then some. And the fact that we were able to dominate it, I had a heavy bet on that money line, a little bit on that -1.5. That's just electric factory hockey. And now it's coming back to Boston, my home stadium with the TD Garden. That's going to be rocking as we already clinched the finals in this Four Nations round robin tournament. But we can dive deeper into this game. But what are your initial thoughts coming off of that?
Yeah, that was that was an absolute great game right off the bat. You get the 3 fights. We'll just get into it right now. So U.S. takes down Canada 3-1. Gensel scores 2 in the game to clinch USA's berth in the championship game of the Four Nations face-off. Um, Basically that game, McDavid does what McDavid does to start the game, gets a 1-0 lead, gets that Canadian crowd right into it. That place was absolutely rocking. That atmosphere was crazy. I could not imagine playing in that game, but
Oh,
um,
dude, the anthem being booed. You saw the looks on all the American faces when they were
yeah,
panning through the bench. I was like, what I would do to go play there. They knew the task at hand and they were on a mission. The boys were dialed all
dude,
night long.
at the start of that game, I literally was like, all right, this is going to be crazy. They start out with the 3 fights. I was like, oh shit, this is going to be crazy. I was hoping it was a little more high scoring, but the difference for the USA was in net. Hellebuck played an
Mhm.
outstanding game. You let up the one move by McDavid. You let him get a
That
breakaway.
goes in every time.
He's gonna do that
Yeah.
more than 50% of the time on a breakaway. He's gonna get a goal, but you can't let him split the defense like that. But I mean, that's one of the best players in the world. US
He was
just kind
flying
of showed that they
24
were the
miles an
deeper
hour.
team, though.
Yeah,
Huh?
24 miles an hour through the neutral zone. A nice sauce from Drew Doughty, and he just went
Oh,
backhand
but that
shelf to
pass was sick. That
and
pass
the
isn't getting enough
gold,
credit. That's perfect.
the wheels, the finish to the backhand shelf over the currently best goalie in the world right now. I mean, that's Connor McDavid for you. And you're right, Bell Center was rocking. They were ready to go, but America didn't back down. They knew that they were going to get theirs. And to your point, saying the low scoring atmosphere, I kind of figured that. And the books did too. A lot of people texted me yesterday, sending screenshots of the odds. The lowest scoring odds, or like the worst odds for a goal scorer, was like plus 185. And with all those superstars, everybody's like, how do I not take this? How do I not take this? I said, I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think the books do too,
Yeah.
because they're so stacked on both sides. Every inch of ice has to be earned. We saw that, how tight the neutral zones were, especially as the game got going. And it was the depth for the Americans stepping up, not so much Gensel. I mean, that guy, he's on a career tear right now. Think about the lines he's played on in his life. He's played with Crosby, and then he went and played with
Aho,
Aho, and then he went and played with now he's
Braden
playing with
Point.
Point, sometimes with Kucherov on the power play too. And
And then
now
the line he's on with USA is disgusting right
he's with
now.
Matthews and Hughes. I mean, he's on the first power play with Kachuk and Werenski and Eichel. I mean, it's just
I mean, that
that
guy's just a
guy's.
goal scorer. He's fucking. I wish we would have never
How
gotten
how
rid of
bad
him.
are you that you guys? I know that you flipped him because you weren't going to re-sign him, but I feel like that's someone that you have to be able to figure out a way to re-sign him no
Yeah,
matter what.
you move whatever you can to keep guys like that around.
Especially with what the young core, the Penguins don't have around there anymore. It's like that was the piece you needed. Imagine him playing with Crosby. And let's talk about Crosby a little bit because he looked great in that Four Nations opener against Sweden. But yesterday, it looked like the game was a little bit too fast for him. The Americans were all over him. A couple
That
of
was
bad
I think that was more
turnovers,
style. That was more like a style of play. Like USA showed that they're like, we're gonna
oh,
hit, we're gonna play the physical aspect.
body and
Canada's like,
speed.
we want to play the skill, and that's what everyone expects out of Canada and the USA. Like that's the style of hockey that both those teams bring. And
McKinnon and Crosby
I
getting
just think
invisible
it's
though.
I think it was just a case of like the hard workout whatever the saying is, hard
Heart.
work beats talent when
Yeah.
talent doesn't work hard. Like,
But
they
I
have all
think
the
we're
top end
more ta
skill. We're just a
I
better team.
I think we're more talented top to bottom. Yeah, they have McKinnon, Crosby, McDavid. They were missing their top defenseman, McCarr,
Yeah, the
but
McCarr being out of that game was
we
big.
were missing our top defenseman in Quinn Hughes, the best
Yeah.
American defenseman as well. I think those are the top 2 defensemen in the NHL as well. But when you go down the lineup, the depth is just way over the top for the Americans. The fourth line being Dylan Larkin, Brock Nelson, Vinny Trocheck, JT Miller in your bottom 6 is just crazy. I mean, the bottom 6 for the Canadians is very good too, but it's the John Cooper favoritism. They had Sorelli, Hagel, Point down there playing a little bit more than Marchand and Bennett. It looked like Stone and Crosby. I was reading a lot of Twitter comments last night, and people don't think that they can keep up with the speed of McDavid. They saw McDavid getting a little bit frustrated when he'd be flying through the neutral zone. He'd look over his shoulder, and Stone and Crosby would be 2 lines behind him. So I think they got to switch it up a little bit. I think I'd go put maybe Sam Reinhart on the wing with Connor McDavid. He was the leading goal scorer in the NHL last year. I think
Yeah.
I'd maybe drop down Crosby to play with Marchand. Maybe go Crosby, Marchand, Stone. Maybe go McKinnon, McDavid, and Sam Reinhart, but they got to mix up a little bit because even against Sweden, after that first period, they got pretty lackluster. And the turnover by Crosby, very uncharacteristic. And right here, Ty Box coming in saying Crosby washed. I mean, I think so. He got bundled by my
He's
boy
not washed.
by Chucky Brightlights. What about Charlie McAvoy, the American hero, Mike Sullivan's son-in-law too? I mean, he lit up Connor
Is he
McDavid.
really?
Oh yeah, they were saying that last night. He married Sullivan's daughter. They went to college together in Boston. They just had their first kid a week ago, and now he's wearing the A on Sullivan's national team. But
I didn't know that.
he bundled Crosby, bitched him on the sorry my language TikTok, don't shut us down, but bitched him on the power play. Then finishes cross check his face. Then McDavid's flying down the wing after he cooked McAvoy. McAvoy sent them back into another dimension as he just lowered the boomstick right on him. Love to see that though.
I don't know if this Canada team's done yet. They get Finland. We'll get into this other game, but they get Finland in a matchup where I
But
believe
is Binnington going to be in net if these two if
No.
Canada can get by Finland, will Binnington be there again?
No.
But he's won a big game 7 in Boston before. That's one thing you got to remember.
Yeah, true. I didn't even think I didn't think of that.
And yeah, he let in a
window,
week
but-
one to Gensel, the
Who's
first
their other
one.
goalies? Aiden Hill and
Hill, but Aiden Hill has a Stanley Cup too, and then Sam Montembeault. It should be Logan Thompson. If you had Logan Thompson, you'd be fire him up. But
why didn't they go with Montembeault
because
in
Bruce
Montreal?
Cassidy and DeBoer, who coached Logan Thompson in Vegas, both said they have a gripe with Thompson, and they took their personal matters in their own hand. You know who else is sitting at home that these Canadians could desperately be using is the second leading goal scorer in the NHL is Mark Scheifele. He's got 30 goals in the league right now. And I know that they're missing McCarr, they're missing Shea Theodore. Thomas Harley stepped up in a very big way.
Yeah,
I'm
he
a big
played
fan
good.
of him. I have him in fantasy. I watch a lot of these Stars games. He's, I think, even a better defenseman than Miro Heiskanen now. He's big, fast, offensive, plays a physical game. But they still have the horses to get it done. But America's lineup just too deep. The Kachucks are American as it gets. We saw it with the way that they said this was the biggest game of their life so far for Brady Kachuk. I think a lot more people getting a lot more familiar with his game, and he's a few years younger than Matthew, not on the biggest stage winning Stanley Cups, but leading that team up in Ottawa. And he's been going off. Golf, how's it going? Your boy Golf asking where's Russell Wilson? I don't. Yeah,
I moved my jersey. I
yeah,
put my Steelers stuff away for the off season.
Yeah, I mean, you could have put it away a little bit time ago, but what are you gonna do? But yeah, this American team just playing nuts, and the fact that Canada is going with different goaltending and they don't know who to go with. America has 3 aces in the hole right there. They got Swayman and Ottinger just sitting in the wings if anything ever happened. But Hellebuck, who normally isn't too great in the big moment, played lights out yesterday, getting tested late on with that 2-1 lead back against the door. Some good looks from that top power play unit for the Canadians too. Josh Morrissey really stepping in too. Ty Buck saying USA defense was shutdown night, looking like the 03 Devils. Yeah, shout out to the Devils the last time they actually finished the job, I think, right?
When they would win every game.
Scott Stevens laying the boom. My boy Charlie McAvoy definitely took a page out of his book. But how about Jacob Slavin, an unwritten superstar in the NHL, been in the league for over 10 years now, playing with the young guy Brock Faber, the youngest guy in the tournament. Slavin was a complete shutdown defenseman, not letting anything by, creates the most turnovers in the NHL. I think if you looked at the statistics for odd man rushes, turn to turnovers that go the other way, and Slavin literally stepped up to the challenge. But I think my biggest praise has got to be of the Kachucks. And one last thing I got to call out, is that I am so happy I get to cheer for Matthew Tkachuk and Austin Matthews because I normally on my team's rivals. And Austin Matthews, they've been saying a lot on the broadcast, and I didn't realize it either how much of a complete game he puts together because both ends of the ice, he's like Selke level good on defense.
Yeah.
We know how great he is on offense, but the shutdown that he's getting, the back checks he has on McDavid, the smart heady plays he makes, and that's why he's a captain. If he was anywhere else in the NHL, I'd have an AM34 jersey, but he plays for those goddamn Leafs, so I got to be against him.
Yeah.
But this game's electric. Our team's already clinched in the finals. Mike Sullivan, your boy from up in Pittsburgh, a couple cups there, coach with Torts on the bench, a couple other big brains behind him. They're already clinched. So I think Matthew Tkachuk will probably sit Monday night when they take on the Swedes for a must-win game for the Sweden team. Meanwhile, Canada is in a must-win spot against Finland, who's been tricky. Yeah, USA trounced them, but they went on and beat that Sweden team in OT. They brought in Kevin Lankin in the pipes. He played well. But get into that Finland-Sweden game because they also have a chance, those two teams, to jump Canada and see Team USA in the finals on Thursday.
Yeah, so I didn't watch this game in entirety. I don't know if you did, but
Yeah, I did.
Finland takes down Sweden 4-3 in overtime. Mikael Granlund scores the OT winner. Sweden falls to 0-1-1 in the tournament with just 2 points. Do you think they can rally and make a push to save their tournament now with 2 overtime losses and a must-win spot coming in against the USA?
Yeah, so I watched this one, and this Finland team, they actually played Team USA very stout through the first 2 periods when they matched up. They're really good in transition, great through the neutral zone, and when the game's within 1 goal or they're tied or playing ahead, that's not a team you want to see. They play great defensive hockey. Their coach puts together a good scheme. Lankinen stepped up like he did for Demko last year, and I think he looked better than Saros too, so they'll probably ride that hot hand there. But the thing is, if they fall behind a couple goals, we saw it when Team USA hosted them in Canada on Thursday night. They don't have the horses in the race to put up big goals. But it was the depth that ended up getting the job done. Guys like Anton Lundell, a very important piece for that Panthers team to win the cup last year, a young guy stepping up on their second, third line. Then you have Mikael Granlund, a guy that's been great in the league but bounces around teams, just got picked up by the Stars, playing on the second line with Duchesne and the first power play down there. He scored the game winner on Linus Ullmark. Sweden kind of in shambles with their goaltending. Yeah, Gustafsson's had a great year, played good against the Canadians, but he's really not the top-notch guy. That's Ullmark, but he's coming off of injury, gives up a softie in overtime. The Finns do have some firepower up front. They got the Fortnite man, Patrick Laine. Sebastian Aho has kind of been non-existent. Mikko Rantanen hasn't been getting enough offense done. But we know Sasha Barkov, that's Andrei Barkov, the biggest teammate for Matthew Tkachuk down there in Florida, how great he erases people in big games. He did it to McDavid in the finals, did it to Pasternak, did it to Kucherov. I think there was someone else along the way. He takes away your superstar. Expect him to do that again against Connor McDavid and the Canadian team on Monday. A must-win game in the TD Garden for both teams. I think that the Finns can stick around, and call me crazy, but I could see an upset here, and Canada really has to look themselves in the mirror and say, where did we go wrong? It's in the roster creation. This happened in the World Juniors for this Canadian team. It's going to happen again at the biggest stage in the Four Nations tournament at the highest level of best on best. This Finland team is playing tough. Yeah, they're without Miro Heiskanen. Yeah, they're without Esa Lindell. But they still have some strong guys on that team that are able to get the job done, and they're playing hungry. I expect a fast and physical game out of them on Monday. It's going to be a low-scoring one once again, as they don't look to put many in, but they keep a lot out too. And if they can stick around 1-goal game late, watch Finland steal this one. Canada has to jump up by a 2-goal lead early and has to come out flying to be able to take it.
So who do you think? Who's your final prediction? Who will USA get?
I think that it should be Canada. If we get our best hockey, it's a little bit hockey's like the least scripted out of all of them. It should be Canada, but Finland is an upset spot. I'm not going to bet this game. I bet against Finland both times. It burnt me once, and it blessed me the other time. USA, I'm going to stay away from that game, even though I do think they would like to go on the sweep, but it's not a must-win game for them. Yeah, they're playing in America and all that, but Sweden's got to be fired up. That's a really, really good Sweden team. I know we talked about their goaltending inefficiencies, but their talent is stacked throughout the lineup. They have some big names. Willie Stiles is out there from Toronto, buzzing around for the Swedes. They got Philip Forsberg, Mika Zibanejad, Victor Hedman. Like, there's too many good guys for them to not win a game. But you're going up against the powerhouse. There's the Americans in their own barn. You know how much that place is going to be rocking. No Canadian anthem to be booed in the American game, but in the Finland game, that crowd's going to be rocking, booing Team Canada. I have a couple buddies going up there. They can't wait. Just electric to get it going. But I think, is there a chance that Sweden upsets the USA and they steal that last spot? Maybe. but it should be Team Canada, right? I'm not going to bet
Mhm.
this game, but I would be afraid.
I hope it's USA Canada again.
But
I want to see
if
that
you've
game again.
watched this Finnish team, I would be afraid of them if I'm Team Canada. If they don't bring their best hockey, which they haven't yet, then they're not going to get the job done. They're going to need McCarr to step up
They
and
need to look
play.
like they did in the first period against Sweden, like you said.
Yeah, but they were too easy to shut down. I think what's crazy is the depth for Team Canada might be the worst depth in the tournament. Like we're talking about this Finnish team with Mikael Granlund, Anton Lundell, East Louis Ryan, a couple of the best glue guys in the league, playing on the bottom of the depth chart for the Finns. Meanwhile, on Team Canada, they have Marchand buried down there. They got to move him up. But Anthony Cirelli, Brandon Hagel, like Sam Bennett, they're not the best players in the league. Yeah, they're glue guys who play the game the
Bennett's a
right way.
good player for that role,
Yeah,
though. I will
but
say
they're
that.
not as skilled as some of these other guys in the bottom tier of the defensive unit too. Like Colton Parayko, yeah, he's really good defenseman playing strong defense, but he's not a stud either.
Mm,
The goaltender too, they have the worst goaltending in the tournament.
yeah.
So they're going to have to rely on the big horses. You know what else is going to happen is they're going to have to get the power play clicking again because Team USA shut it down. But like I said, against E2 Luis Duranen, Anton Lundell, those great guys from Florida Panthers who won a Stanley Cup, they know how to shut them down. That's going to be a low-scoring game Monday. If Canada could jump out to a lead, they blow them out. But if it's a close one, look for Finland to steal it. And then USA, I've got them to take the whole thing. They're winning this one on Thursday. They're not losing it in front of their own barn. They're making a statement, playing for Johnny Gaudreau. Shout out Billy Guerin, former Dallas Star, for the team he put together, reminiscent of the 1996 Team USA team. Toughest, most physical, and the best skilled American team we've ever seen play. And it's just some great hockey. So happy they put this together over the All-Star game.
Yeah, this is it's definitely been great. That game last night lived up to it. I'm hoping we get a rematch. Just to see that game again. What would it be on Thursday, I believe? But
Yep.
Monday we have some day hockey at 1 o'clock. Canada versus Finland in that last game for them. And then Sweden versus USA that same day at 8 p.m. to round things off. To see who the U.S. will face in the final. We'll touch over the NBA briefly here. The All-Star Skills competition was last night with Mac McClung taking home his third straight dunk championship. The threes competition was won by Tyler Hero
I
of the
actually
Miami
bet that.
Heat. Did you really? What were the odds on that?
Plus 600 on Tyler Harrow to win the whole thing. I was
Yeah,
I was
nice.
talking to my boys. I was like, who's going to be? Tyler Harrow's having a career year, isn't he? I was looking at Brunson. I was looking at Harrow. And then low-key, the long shot was Cade Cunningham. He was like almost plus 2,000. Looked at him too, but I was like, I'll go with Harrow. Big fan. And he's having a career year. And the way he shoots the three ball is pretty nice. And it was nice to see Damian Lillard sleeping on the bench. I saw the highlights of it. I was watching the USA game. But he looked like he wasn't even ready to go. I know he's a back-to-back three-point champion. But a lot of people saying he's washed now. I don't think he's washed, but I just think he wasn't fired up
I
for
just
that.
think he doesn't give a shit about that kind of stuff anymore.
Did you see John Morant's tweet yesterday? He said, "Hey
The
Gord,
dunk contest
AG."
might be saved. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah, I mean,
awesome. Next year we get
I
some
know
real
they're
guys, and they don't have
doing.
to call it Mac McClung again.
Yeah, who's not even in the NBA, and kudos to him though, because he has more career earnings from the dunk contest than he does from his NBA paychecks.
Yeah.
So you know why he goes crazy, but I don't like the way that the dunk contest is set up now. I think it's to showcase. I like the old school where like you go in and you dunk the basketball like you would in an NBA game. You're not going
Mhm.
over a car, jumping over a person. Yeah, it's creative, but to me that's not true. I'd rather see you do something crazy on a standard dunk than
Yeah.
props.
I like any of the through the legs or behind the back, like
Yeah,
some of the like
windmills.
360.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you don't need to be
legitimate
jumping.
things.
Yeah, I don't need a guy under the basket holding the ball with his head ducked like this for you to grab. Like it's sick. It's pretty impressive. You can hurdle some of it's 6'3", 6'2", whatever it is. But
Yeah,
I agree.
not
But
what I want to see. I want to see
yeah,
realistic dunk that you could pull off in a game.
exactly. Um, the skills competition was won by Team Cavs. Did you watch that? I
I saw
remember
the
watching that
highlights.
last year. I think that's one where they go around like passing the
Team
ball and all
Spurs
that
got
shit.
kicked out for cheating.
Yeah, weren't they just chucking the ball to get through the time?
Yeah, for the 3-pointers, they would just throw the ball at the rim. They didn't even shoot it. Wemby
Because
and
what you have to do,
Chris
you have to
shoot
shoot
threes.
three, and then you can move
Yeah,
on,
yeah, and
even if you don't make it.
yeah, that's cheating. Like, of course, Chris Paul, guy who's never won a championship in his life, never
He's trying to
will.
find a way.
Yeah, like settle down, buddy. Play it the right way. Wemby, you're teaching him the wrong stuff. Hard work beats cheating. Like I know if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But Team Cavs win on their home floor. I feel like that's just the narrative, huh? Like if you're on your home floor, you probably should win the skills comp.
Isn't it in Golden State?
Oh, is it? I thought that was it in Cleveland last year?
Yeah, I think it was Cleveland last year. I think it's in
All right.
Golden State.
Maybe it's because they won it last year too that they got to run it back, something like that. I
Yeah,
don't even know. But
I don't know.
maybe the Cavs too.
I didn't watch this. I was watching that USA game, but
Yeah, I just saw the highlights. I saw a lot of
yeah,
people pretty salty as they had Spurs tickets to win the whole thing. So you'd think Wemby and Chris Paul in a skills competition, they should be able to win it,
yeah.
and they get disqualified.
Yeah, and then we have a new format for the All-Star game as they tip off today at 8:20 on ESPN. Team Kenny facing off against Team Chuck, then Team Shaq and Team Candace. Winners will move on to the finals at 10 o'clock. The format is a tournament-based 3-on-3 tournament where the games will not be timed, but the first team to score 40 points wins.
So it's
Will
like
you be
the
turning into?
hockey.
You think you'll be tuning into this tonight, NBA
There's
All-Star game?
zero chance. I don't think they've found the right formula for basketball. Maybe they go to an international tournament like hockey did because
They
remember how
can't. There's USA. It would not even be.
But you remember how electric the Olympics were? I mean, did we not just watch how great that was? How many people tuned in? Team USA almost
I
got
guess they
knocked
would
out.
do Team USA, Team France.
There's
They'd have to do
Canada. Canada's
they'd have
really
to
good.
do like a team, Team Canada. It would have to probably
Spain
be.
or wherever Jokic is
I
from.
bet they would just do a European team, like Team European, like Team Euro,
That team
like
would
they
be
do
too
in the
good
Rising
though.
Stars games, like World versus USA.
That team would be too good though. Team
The
Europe would be
USA can be
disgusting.
just as loaded. Like,
Yeah, no, but no, that's what I'm saying. It might make us tune in a little bit more when you represent your country. Think about how good those Olympics were. What was it? Serbia,
did you see
France.
the thing on Twitter? It was
You
like,
go no, Huff. You go Serbia, France, America, Canada. Boom, right there. That's a great tournament.
yeah. Did you see the thing that was the NFL has turned the Pro Bowl into a flag football game?
Oh, I
The
retweeted this.
Yeah, the NBA doesn't even try
They
in their
don't break a
All-Star game,
sweat.
and the NHL's throwing haymakers 9 seconds into the Four Nations face-off or whatever it was.
It
It was
goes
a great
NHL
tweet.
All-Star game, MLB All-Star game, big drop off, the other two.
Yeah,
NFL's is the worst. Best
yeah,
NFL, best league in America, worst Pro Bowl.
yeah, by
Worst.
far.
Worst.
All right, I'm going to get into a couple of these college basketball games. If you looked in any of these, feel free
Not
to.
yet
I'm just
today,
going to
but
kind of
I
jump
wanna hear
through
'em,
some
yeah.
of these, but most of the ranked matchups are the ones I pulled. We have number 14 Memphis heading to Wichita State, which Memphis is 7.5-point favorite, minus 350 on that money line, plus 280. I think that's a good parlay leg there, minus 350. I don't love the 7.5. I think Memphis is the better team and they'll get the win. I'm not big on that Wichita State team. We have a nice Big Ten matchup. Obviously, this is more of a football matchup when you look at it. Michigan at Ohio State. Michigan, the 20th ranked team coming into this matchup. I love Ohio State here, minus the 2.5 at home. Michigan's game, I'm not sure they travel too well. Ohio State's a pretty inconsistent team, but I'm going to take them here, minus the 2.5. I think they handle business at home there. What is the next game I got? Probably the best game of the day, 24 versus 9. Creighton heading to number 9, St. John's. I like St. John's here, minus the 6.5 points at home. Creighton obviously coming off a tough loss to UConn. I forget who they played the other day, but UConn now coming off a loss to Seton Hall yesterday or last
Yeah, that
night,
was a
whenever
big
that
one.
game was. But I like St. John's here, minus the 6.5 at home. Patino will have those guys ready. They'll cover that spread. I love St. John's. That's probably my favorite play of the day today. And then the later game, 5 o'clock, we have Iowa, Maryland, a Big Ten matchup. Maryland, number 25 in the nation. 11.5 is a lot of points. Iowa sucks on the road, but I would take Maryland minus the 11.5. I think Derek Queen will go for probably another 20-point, 10 rebound game for Maryland here. Look at the Terps to cover that 11.5 points. And then Rutgers, Oregon, also a great game. Rutgers not very good on the road. Going to lay the 7.5 with Oregon in that night game at 7 o'clock on FS1. Two good night games there, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And then obviously the St. John's game at 3. All these games pretty sprouted out as Michigan, Ohio State's 1 o'clock, and Memphis is noon.
Wait, Huff, right here we got HB Keezy telling us he hit 12 straight bets in a row yesterday. I got to hear what they are. Let me know what they are. If they're in the college basketball world, let's see it.
Yeah, throw them in the chat. Let us know what you were hitting on yesterday, or if it was like a 12-leg parlay or what. Either way, that's still pretty impressive.
Huff, let us know something. Cook me up like a little 3-legger that's going to hit for college basketball day. I don't mind if there's a few heavy favorite money lines, but I want 3 bets for teams to just win, not cover spreads. And I want a nice parlay that gets me over plus 200 odds.
All right, let's see here. I'm at plus 120 with 2 legs. Maybe St. John's. Where's St. John's? Minus 275. Plus 196,
I'll
3
take it.
legs.
All right, what do you got?
Memphis,
Yep.
Ohio State,
Okay.
St. John's.
Memphis, Ohio State, and St. John's.
If you don't want the Ohio State's what kind of juices the odds a little bit. You
Right
could
here we
switch
got
it.
Huff. We got Kiski saying Louisville, Nebraska, St. John's is his parlay of today.
I do like Louisville. Notre Dame's not very good. I try to stay away from road teams. I know Memphis is on the road. Who was the other one he said other than Louisville?
Nebraska, St. John's,
I
Nebraska.
like Nebraska. That's a good game. Yeah, St. John's. St. John's my favorite play of the day. Northwestern's a pesky team. I try to avoid their games. Me and Mackie seem to always be on the wrong side of Northwestern games. When we take them at home, they lose. When we take them in kind of ranked spots, they're not very good. So I would lean Nebraska in that game. Not going to bet it personally, but
HB Kesey with his 12 hits yesterday said his biggest one was his 3-unit play on Clemson. That was his big hit yesterday. We also got
Clemson's been
VIP
playing good. They're a
VIP
good team.
picks.
They just
Huff
beat North
saying
Carolina. North Carolina is not very
hot
good.
take. Ohio State blows out Michigan today.
I like that. I like Ohio State minus the 2.5 there. So I would take that straight, but I like that money line in the parlay. That'll get you some juice on some of these other 6.5, 7-point favorites. But yeah, I'd probably say if I had to give you 3 official straight plays, give me St. John's minus 6.5, give me Ohio State minus 2.5, and Maryland minus the 11.5. Those are probably my 3 favorite. Maryland's a great money line, but it's minus 650. If you throw it in with those other 3, you get plus 240 instead of plus 200.
Yeah, I like it. Why not?
I do
And
not see Maryland lose that game.
shout out to the chat here tuning in. Appreciate y'all talking some college basketball. We love talking it. We love following it. We're posting plays every day. The boys have been hot. Someone said I had Duke money line yesterday versus Clemson for a 6-legger. That's a tough one there. Ohio and who?
Yeah,
Someone asked you again, Huff. Drop your parlay again.
Do
Not yesterday. That was
Memphis, if you want a 3-legger, it's going to be I'll give you the 3-legger and a 4-legger. 3-legger plus 196. Memphis money line, St. John's money line, Ohio State money line. If you want to throw in Maryland there at the minus 650, they're at home. It makes it plus 241.
Yeah, love to hear it. Memphis, Ohio State, St. John's. Yeah, tune on into our Instagram. Go follow us there. We are always posting clips. We post our plays every day. The boys have been hitting at big units. I'm not a big college basketball guy myself. I'm one of those fair weather fans who tunes in for March Madness, big hockey, NBA guy. But we have Huff and our other guy, Mackie, who's out today. They're dialed in daily. They're sending plays, hitting at an enormous rate. I think last year you guys finished above 20 units, crushed
37.
March. Yeah, 37 units on over 100 plays in a given season. Sitting about plus 10 units right now. So the boys are going to keep cooking as we get closer to. Right here, Huff, someone has Sacred Heart versus Siena and Valparaiso versus Evansville. Thoughts?
I respect anyone that bets the mid-major college basketball. I stay away from it. It's too much to keep up with for me, but I know a lot of people make some great money betting those small game college basketball games.
Yeah, and we got HB Kesey, who looks like he knows his thing. Kesey, definitely come and follow us. We want to hear some more from you. Send us some of your tickets too on your Instagram. If you have any big hits and stuff that we talk about on our live stream, we'll feature you on our Instagram channel. That's @hitthebooks_pod. We'll throw it on the live, throw it on our story for people to see. So love you guys tuning in. Love the questions. Come follow us, and we'll be talking. We'll be here next week too to give you some more tips.
Yeah, I was going to say next week NHL, NBA will be back, so we'll be getting into some of those games as well. It won't just be college basketball. We'll be going around all around the leagues: NHL, NBA, college basketball, like you said. We got plays going in probably all 3 of those sports. Make sure you're staying tuned for any of the 4 Nations games. We hit on USA money line last night. I hope you tailed on that, but we'll get some other plays out there. Hit the
Time Murray last
on
time.
Instagram.
Time Murray asking, what's some locks? Give him your parlay lock one more time.
Memphis, St. John's, Ohio State plus 196. My favorite straight plays are each of those, 2 of those, which would be Ohio State minus 2.5 straight, St. John's minus 6.5 straight, and Maryland minus 11.5 straight. I love all 3 of those. Love that parlay. Lock it in. If you want to throw a 4th leg in that money line parlay, throw Maryland in there. And do Memphis, St. John's, Ohio State, and Maryland. You get plus 240.
Yeah, so some good covering off today. Time, I love you tuning in. Let's go. Shout out to the YouTube chat coming in late. But yeah, we already covered that USA-Canada game. We covered that Finland-Sweden game. We gave our predictions going forward. We got USA winning it. We have Finland maybe being a sneaky upset tomorrow. We have some great college basketball plays. Tune on into our Instagram account and go check it out. HB Kesey saying Siena is covering at 16-8. So he thinks that they're going to be a nice little mid-major right there, Huff. But we're going to post our official plays. Go on, keep our Instagram. We'll catch you guys next week. We have some great plays for you. Thanks for tuning in.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys on Thursday for the podcast.